All right, everybody, welcome back. Let's get back into it. Hope everyone had a good weekend. And I'm going to take a look at Bitcoin on the higher time frame first. And really, I'm just looking for another high to be made. And seeing that we're in this upward structure here, I'm looking at this as just a rising channel. So I'm just trading this range back and forth, a diagonal range. But I really want to take this daily SFP, whether we SFP it or go ahead and really start pumping through and making new structure to the upside. Now, locally, what I'm looking at, let's take a look at our trade setups and look at our order blocks as well. So come down here in the 15. I'm going to look at these setups right back, hopefully coming back down for a retest of VWAP into our order blocks. We have 3 stacked order blocks here. That would be my first long setup, and that's probably going to be the setup that we're going to be dealing with first. Potentially also having a 15-minute order blocks of supply starting to form here as well. Going to set some alerts here. So this order block right here, it does have inducement on it because we do have this high here. And I would like to see something like a quick SFP of this high if we're going to actually use this order block and swing us down back to take this low and into the naked VWAP, golden pocket, plus all of these order blocks. Or we come down here first and then go and then come down to that same area. But either way, going back to that 4 hour, we have internal structure here from this high and this low. So I would like for one of these highs or lows to go ahead and get taken out, if not both of them. But either way, I'm still just kind of looking at this. Let's take the order blocks off and clean it up. I'm still just looking at this as a channel, right? So the easiest way to trade this is just back and forth, like we've been doing in the Discord all week, last week, and the week before. And you can come in and look at the trade setups. We had a very nice setup from this short, looking for the back test, the value area high, and down into the bottom of this channel where the monthly VWAP was. We called that to the dollar. And so now we are coming back up, checking order flow really quick as we come into this area. We do have some liquidity stacking down here, 63.9, and above us at 65.5. So that's right around that SFP area. So I'm also looking at these liquidity areas to line up with our points of interest, right? Because that's how the market actually moves. We want to see those walls on the heat map put in that defense to see if we get absorption there, exhaustion, and to see if we can get a really nice sniper entry when we're getting to these edges of our channel here. And let's see if volume also lines up here. So I do like where this point of control is here. You can see this point of control is already putting in work and supporting. So that kind of leads me to believe if New York can't really slam this down, we're going to go for the highs first. And we're not going to revisit this low of this channel until after we take this high. However, if things do get really bullish, could be actually breaking this high and going for this high here. This one's been left behind for a while now, and it is a poor high, so I really wouldn't mind coming all the way up to this deviation zone of this channel and taking this high as well. But that's definitely going to have some nice aggression behind it from the buyers. Let's take a quick peek at Market Monkey here. So now Market Monkey's running off of Binance. And we did actually come down to that VWAP on Binance. Whereas this chart, I'm looking at Bybit, BTC, USD. So the VWAP is a little bit different on here. Let's take this off the chart again. Let's clean things up. Go down to the 15. Just taking a look at structure really quick. Hadn't really looked at the charts much this morning, so I'm taking in the weekend moves. Looks like we got a little bit of chop. This daily level really putting in some resistance right here. So I'm not touching anything, of course, until we break this range here. This is just a chop fest. However, if you look at the formation, you know, you're breaking some in structure here, come back down. Maybe you're going to start forming what we always look for, that accumulation, that rounded bottom, to go ahead and take this high out, take this high, come into this order block that we have here, or sweep that daily, maybe put an SFP there. I'm going to be looking out for both of those. Actually set another alert right here at the high, right before the SFP level. And of course down here, if we could take these lows, which is much better setup, get out of this internal range area. So either sweeping these highs or sweeping these lows is a much better location for short or long. This would be just a scalp setup for me, with a runner, of course, because we're going with the trend here. Come down, put an accumulation here. That'd be great. I would want to take these highs, potentially run up to that daily SFP zone, and of course back up to that top of the channel. I do really like this zone, but we have a naked point of control down here. So this one's probably going to get a little bit more confusing as far as, okay, do I want to see this level hit or do I want to see this level hit? You also have point of control and value area low down here. So this is one of those moments where I take it just level by level. When we get to this area, I'll come over here to bookmap and look out for accumulations and all of our behavioral confirmations and see if I can get a really tight entry trigger at that level. Nonetheless, very easy. You just set alerts there and wait for them to get hit. Don't force a trade. Just simply let the trades come to you. So if we take a look at these are the trades I gave out in the VIP this morning. Of course, location and context, how you get there, what price does on the way to these levels matters more than you know. And getting into these levels with a very, very nice scalp or sniper entry, definitely want to use Market Monkey or Bookmap for those styles of entries. But we do have some nice confluence on this level. I wouldn't mind either one of these. Either way, you're going to be sweeping this low into the deep discounted area of this range from this low to this high. And yes, this is internal range so far from our larger channel. So even though I don't mind us coming back down to this level, I would want to see it take the high. But you have to be ready if this turns into a scalp and completing more of this rounded top right here, completing a distribution to only take us down further. So this one has a little bit of a disclaimer to it. However, I do like it because it can run. So it's, if I'm in this trade, I'm going to treat it as a scalp with a runner. Because we don't have to come all the way back down here to come up. So we don't know exactly when and where, how this is going to happen, right? So you can't really predict that, but you can just be ready and set your trade management up for your expectations. But keep your expectations realistic, right? Um, let's see. Just taking a look. Come back up to the 4 hour really quick. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of the order blocks for now. Take a little bit more of a zoomed out look really quick. Yeah, my only other thoughts here on like a macro level is that we had a nice channel here. And I'm kind of looking for the same thing that this channel did, but really more so a redistribution pattern. And this was kind of a funky redistribution pattern here. I would have liked to seen it a little bit cleaner, right? Kind of like that. You break down. But this one had a really nice large distribution on the last half of that redistribution model. So this section right here kind of looks like this to me. And I don't really play the whole fractal game all that much, but I'm just looking at similarities here. And could we be making this here? Or will this finally start to extend up and then kind of complete another redistribution model with an extra deviation on that model? So what I would do is I would pull this range and look at those liquidity pockets. So if this range does break up, maybe we start to form that distribution right around that 73.7 to 74.7 area. But that's a bit macro, and we won't really need to worry about that particularly today because I think that would take some time to play out. Now, that could take just as long as this area right here, which was about 39 days. So when we get to that, we'll have plenty of signs telling us how to play that setup. Yeah. So the golden pocket retracement from this high to this low also matches up with that liquidity pocket zone 2, this purple zone right here. So keep that noted down, keep that in the back of your head if you're wanting to look for anything macro swing trade style setups. I would definitely look at that. Okay, so let's come back down to the 15. Take a look. Bitcoin did sweep these lows, and we did trap a good amount of sellers here. So let's dig into that really quick on a lower time frame. Let's go to the 5 minute. So we did hit that level. Fortunately, I missed that trade. And that came into this, believe it was a 15-minute order block here. But we'll see if they get acceptance back above VWAP and they're able to actually hold and start doing business there. And don't forget about this 15-minute supply here, because that could be your next level of resistance with this daily level and your value area high here. Yeah, it kind of looks like it started trying to break back below this trend line. You had support, a lot of support here, broke through, put in an accumulation model. You broke back through the same low volume area, had resistance at the same level of resistance that you had here, the value area high, resistance once, twice, many times in this area, many times in that area, of course. So right now, these are the two areas that I'd be playing. Of course, the VWAP and order block long is already engaged, but let's see if they hold it here. This level has really been acting as resistance for some time. Okay, really quick before I hop off of here, I want to take a look at our session volume profiles. Since we do have a new week, I like to take a look at the dailies and the weeklies here. We have opened up pretty wide. I do like that. So we have some distance to even play our session range here. Came down to this previous day value area low, acting as support here, as you can see. Very nice. Also had very clear structural support, right? If anyone looked at this on order flow, it had a massive level on the heat map. This was it here on Market Monkey. And they've been trying to support price the entire time, even coming back down to this level. Previous month VWAP. They're really starting to lose VWAP here now. Previous day low is coming up next. Maybe we sweep that into a VWAP deviation, or we just start taking these lows out. And then once we start getting into this area, we know, especially from these stacked imbalances, that a lot of longs entered in this area. So if those longs start to get stopped out, that's going to feed more aggression to the shorts, pushing it down a little bit harder. So going back to this level with the golden pocket and naked VWAP, where we also had that order, the start of that order block. I do like that. But now that I'm seeing this previous value area low here, I really think the deviation is going to happen down here. And I'm talking about the deviation of that bottom of that channel. The deviation of this value area low. Taking the naked VWAP, and as well as taking that naked point of control. But since that is a larger order block, we might spend a little bit of time here, might take a few hours to build out an accumulation here to really bring us back up to the top of this channel, and hopefully eventually taking that high or SFPing that daily high, that daily SFP up there. So I'm just taking it level by level. Some of these levels can offer you a really nice intraday scalp. Sometimes they might be an intraday trade where they're going to last you all day or a few hours. And some of these setups might last you multiple days, especially this one down here. Again, that's that low of this channel here, right around that area. And you can just kind of measure previous moves. That took about 18 hours. About 18 hours again. About maybe 11, 12 hours there. So again, when we come to this area, you don't want to expect just a quick in and out, like in 5 minutes. Can that happen? Yes, it absolutely can happen. Sometimes it does. But the majority of the time, you're in more of a swing position and you're in a higher time frame order block. Sometimes you have to let that accumulation build. So if we do come down to this area today, the first tap into that zone, be careful. Sometimes those premature longs will get punished. Okay, so going back to the session volume profiles, let's move this one out of the way as well. Delete that off. I want to take a quick look at see how the weekly is opening up and where previous week is. And we're also going to take a look at the monthly just to take a quick glance at where we're at there as well. So you can see our weeklies opening up here, and we're still inside previous week's value area. Of course, the week just started, so that's very common. This week will start to build out, and the value area will start to get wider and wider. But we did just touch down to the point of control as well as your previous week's point of control. Now, this is not a weekly point of control, but it is still the previous week point of control where we can find a lot of profit taking and just general business being done. And sometimes these areas can get a little choppy. It's not my favorite area to enter into a any kind of trade. Unless we're talking about naked points of control, obviously, right? Y'all all already know that that's one of my favorite levels. So just as I was saying, as that daily profile value area low was a little bit lower here, kind of giving more confluence to that naked point of control. But now that we see the previous naked value area low and value area high, that naked value area low is actually giving more context around that naked VWAP area. So that was one of the first areas of the trade right before the naked point of control. So yeah, you're really gonna have to look when we get down in these areas, set your alerts. You're going to have to really dig into here on order flow when we get there to see what kind of walls are setting up, to see who's defending and what that battle looks like in real time. Um, so you could absolutely get a really nice trade set up here. Come back up to point of control and then come back down here to the naked point of control and do it all over again, right? So you could have a nice scalp, and then this will be your swing setup, building out a larger accumulation. Let's make that a little bit more pretty. If you come down here, and this will be like, your 12-hour, 18-hour, maybe multi-day accumulation in this bigger order block. But that doesn't mean you can't play tap one for a scalp on this level, potentially have a tap two down here, and then come back and have that spring of a Wyckoff Model 2. And of course, if we do end up breaking this channel down, I'm looking to sweep all of these lows and then coming down to that weekly naked point of control here. Of course, we could have some nice scalp longs in this area or even a day trade long from this area. But this is my ultimate area for more of a swing position. And at that point, I would be looking at the fixed range value area, and I would be looking for a deviation, just like this one, below value area to be put in right here for another swing long idea to take above the value area high here. Just so you can see that clearly. The other one's kind of dark gray. You can see that value area low and the value area high. And so I'm looking for a deviation of that value area low in this area, but you're going to more likely spend some time below this area. And of course, you're going to have a lot of shorts FOMOing in, thinking that we're going to go lower. And it's going to create an accumulation. That one took 7 days. So it could create accumulation that does take some time right here. So that's about it for me today. Took a look at the sessions on the daily, the weekly. Let's go ahead and take a look at the monthly real quick as well before I hop off. Hide that fixed range. Just to give us a little bit higher time frame context. So you do have this point of control right around this area as well, the previous monthly point of control. I don't really see anything too terribly interesting here other than that naked value area low from the previous month is right around this area where I was talking about. I wanted to see that deviation zone below that fixed range, which is here. So that does add some nice confluence to this naked weekly and naked monthly. I'm sorry, naked weekly point of control and naked weekly VWAP. So they've already taken out small 15-minute order block. Looks like we're getting a back test on VWAP now. That could be good for a short. Sellers really need to step it up here if they're going to smash it down. Got a nice little miniature distribution right there at the point of control. Nice absorption here. CBD really had a vertical slope there. So it looks like we do have some nice selling pressure so far this morning from New York. Also forming a 15-minute order block here, right from the displacement from the breakdown of that trend line. So I'd be looking for it to pop back up, maybe back test New York Open and this trend line right here, if they can actually push back above VWAP for another potential short. And now this structure left inducement on this order block as well. So I'm going to be looking at both of these two for some other short potential short back test scenarios. Let's set some alarms up and wait to see if those get hit as well. But that's it for me today. I'll keep y'all updated in the Discord, and I'll talk to y'all guys later.